Hi, this is Chris Legaspi, and in this video, I'm going to demonstrate how to use subtle exaggeration to get a better likeness when drawing heads and portraits. What I've done is in my initial lay-in, I've tried to exaggerate some of the features. Now this actor is tough. He doesn't have like a lot of features that stand out. So I've kind of taken the moment to notice what it is about him that makes him unique, and what those things that I noticed are what I'm going to exaggerate. And it's kind of what I did in this preliminary lay-in, and I used colored pencil. So what I noticed about this actor is that his eyes have an interesting shape, and I noticed that one is smaller than the other, and it's kind of more pointy than the other. It kind of does kind of comes to a point, so that's why I kind of exaggerated that. Well, actually this one does too. I just noticed that now. This one has like feels like it has a heavier brow, but it's just bigger and more rounder. So I'm going to exaggerate the difference. He has a bit of a long nose, especially the tip of his nose, so I exaggerated that. He has kind of a small mouth, at least in this picture, relative to his other features and relative to his face shape. And his face shape is very round. So let's see if I can nail his eye shape. You know, I'm pretty happy with that. I could just tell right away that it's close. It's close in terms of the nature. The most important thing is the corner. If you nail the shape, the nature of, the opening and the corner, kind of get the angle of the corner, yeah, you'll be in business. And let me see if I can get his other eye here. So I'm feeling pretty good about that. And there's a fine balance between caricature and, the realism. Obviously, I want to exaggerate, but I don't want to be a caricature. But again, it's a fine balance. You do want actually some caricature, but not like a full-on, like a Sebastian Kruger or Jan Uptebeek or other great caricature artists out there. So I'm pretty happy with that. I think my initial line drawing looked good. I'm looking at his eyebrow shape now. So as a poster artist or any cover illustrator, we want to nail the expression, and the corner of the brow helps. It really drives a lot of the expression, that angle. And I do want to stylize, add some of that rigidness. So I think so far I'm good. The lips are very subtle in terms of edge, so I'm not going to press too hard. And his other side of his cheek kind of turns up, or his mouth, kind of turns up. So I exaggerated that. And there's not a lot of light happening there. His muzzle is fairly shallow. It's not too pronounced. So I'm pretty happy so far. I'm going to sharpen my pencil. Again, try to capture the angle, the shape. I mean, the shape obviously is important. And that's one of the things that I constantly do, and it's part of my philosophy, is to nail that shape. So I think in terms of features, this is successful. Let me just grab his nose. Next, let me address his face shape. Okay, so the face shape that I notice is he does have a round face shape. So I'm going to exaggerate the roundness and see if that can add to the likeness. I think it does. So the ear really doesn't affect the likeness so too much, so it has some margin for error, or you can take some liberties on the ear. And his head shape is, he's wearing like this kind of man bun. It's a period, or historical kind of themed costume here. So little man bun, and that's not going to add or take away from the specific likeness of the actor, but in terms of the character, yes. So definitely want to use that. I'm going to use all the tools that I have. All right, so obviously next I got to continue to with the line drawing and add the light and shadow shape. So that would be next. Okay, now I'm going to begin the shading process. So this video is more about likeness, so I'm not going to go too deep into the shading. And most of the work has been done by the line drawing, so I'm just going to briefly go over the shading process. So here I'm going to begin by first separating the light and shadow, and I do that by describing and defining the shadow shape. And I've already done that to some extent with the lighter blue colored pencil, so now I'm just going to go over it with my black colored pencil. And once I have defined my shadow shape, now I'm going to fill the shape with a tone. So I'm just going to fill it with a medium halftone, a medium dark tone, just to better separate light and shadows. And at this stage, I want to keep the shadow shape and shadow tone as simple as possible. So I'm going to group as much of the shadow shapes that I see. So I'm going to group the shadow tones that I see in the neck as well as in the hat. So I'm not going to worry too much about detail and subtleties in the shadow at this stage. Here I'm doing the transition tones. So these are the tones that will help transition from the shadow side into the light side, and it's also going to help to soften the edge. So help me to start to show form and describe the form and soften and turn the form there. Okay, now I'm going to do the halftones and light halftones. So here I'm actually going into the light side and start to describe some of the form here. And I'm going to use some lighter tones. I'm not going to go as dark as I do in the shadow so that it'll still read as the light side. And I'm just going to go, I'm still going to simplify and use very minimal values here, basically making a subtle range of the light value. And now I can start to describe some of the forms. There's more specific forms of our actor here. So this stage, I can use some of the tones and some of the forms and some of the unique shapes to our actor to also get the likeness. But the main thing really here is about controlling value, number one, and also to describe the forms. Now, it may look like, at first glance, it may look like I'm just kind of randomly adding tone or trying to copy the photo, but really here, this is a careful application of tone to describe form. I'm using more of my anatomical knowledge really than copying the form. So a lot of, knowledge and study and understanding of the anatomy of the face really comes into play here. Okay, do not check your video here. I did turn the drawing upside down. You are seeing correctly. So at this stage, I'm just kind of adding a little bit of some final touches here and also correcting my drawing, correcting the tones, correcting the value. And, turning it upside down is just a way to get a fresh perspective. So I'll do a couple different things to do to get a fresh perspective. One, I'll look at it from far away. So I'll put the drawing maybe 20 feet away from me across the room. Two, I can use a mirror, so see the drawing in reverse. And I also, besides turning it upside down, I'll just step away from it. I've done that as well if I have the time to do so. I can just step away from the drawing, take a break from it, and come back with a fresh perspective. So that's all I'm doing here. I'm just using turning it upside down to get a different perspective and help me to refine my drawing, refine my shapes, refine my values, and help me get a better likeness and have a better drawing. Just to recap, his eyes, I noticed one was slightly bigger than the other, and one had a unique shape, so I exaggerated that. I picked out his nose being slightly longer, especially the point came to a point here. The ball of the nose came to a point, so I exaggerated that. His mouth felt small relative to his face, and his face shape was relatively round. Then I added all the costume details to make it, to really nail it as the character that this actor is playing. Okay, that's the end of this video. I want to thank you for watching. If you want to improve your head drawing, head on over to my website where you can download more free resources like handouts, video lessons, and articles. And you could also get first access and discounts to live classes and workshops. So if you're serious about taking your drawing to the next level and you want to work with me and a community of like-minded and hardworking artists and students, all you have to do is go to my website, www.drawwithchris.com/subscribe. And there you can enter your email and you'll be good to go. So that's it for this video. Until next time, get out there, keep drawing, and build up that mileage. Bye for now.